Hey everyone. So I found another list that's about, bad albums. From bad to worst, these rock albums don't measure up, according to this website at least. And I didn't go through the whole list, but some of the albums I saw, I said, hey, I like that album. So let's go through the list, and I'd love your thought. I haven't heard all of these albums, but if you have, please let me know the ones that you agree with or disagree with. I really do appreciate all of the comments, and please like the video and subscribe. Thank you. So first up, right off the bat, The Doors. Of course, they tried to continue on without Jim Morrison, which is kind of almost impossible. And I do have the two albums without Jim Morrison. And I actually think Other Voices is, it's not a great album, but I think it's I would even say a very good album. The vocals, of course, are not quite as good as Jim Morrison, but the music, it's The Doors. And so especially late, in the last year or so, I've really enjoyed the album. Full Circle, the follow-up to Other Voices, not that I've listened to it that much, but the couple of times I've heard it, I wasn't that impressed with it, but maybe I need to even give that album more listens. But it's, Other Voices certainly isn't a bad album, at least to me. I wish in this list that they would actually show the album cover instead of these pictures, though. That's John Densmore, of course, the drummer. So up next is Fleetwood Mac, Time. And the last album I bought by Fleetwood Mac was Tusk, which I love. It's my favorite Fleetwood Mac album. And then, their later albums, I would hear some of the songs from it, and I wasn't encouraged to buy any of the albums. So I would love your thoughts on Time. Yeah, that's when they lost Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. And so there was Becca Bramlett and Billy Burnett in the band. But is it a bad album? Let me know. Def Leppard, Slang I've never heard. Not a big fan of Def Leppard, but, they're not a bad band. Michael Bolton, Soul Provider. I've never bought any Michael Bolton albums. Boom, Dylan and the Grateful Dead. Dylan and the Dead. I was actually gifted this album along with quite a few other CDs, and I haven't heard it yet, but I have heard that it's not a very good live album. But really looking forward to some comments on it. There must be somebody out there that likes it. Motley Crue, Generation Swine. Not a fan of Motley Crue. And that's, I guess, Vince Neil had left, and then this was his comeback album with them. Supposedly, it's a comical disaster. I have heard this one, Van Halen 3. On my Canadian Stuff Muffin channel, I do a series called Does This Album Suck? And so I bought this album. I think it was in from a like a cutout bin or whatever for a couple of dollars. And I think at the end of the video, I said that the album sucked. It just wasn't that interesting, and the production wasn't very good. But like I said, I'm sure there are fans of the album. And this was the one with, of course, Gary Cherone, who only lasted for the one album. Scott Weiland, I've never heard. I guess he did a Christmas album. Black Sabbath Forbidden. I've wanted to do this for my Does This Album Suck series. Some fans are saying it's actually a good album, but the production is bad. And hopefully there's going to be a remix of it. So, but, I might still do it at some point for my series. I mainly love Black Sabbath, the Aussie years and those first 8 albums. Bad Religion, I've never heard any of their albums. Into the Unknown, is that a bad album? AC/DC, Fly on the Wall, once again, I listened to this album for my Does This Suck series, and at the end, I said, it sucks. The production was not very good. That didn't help. And there's always a sameness to a lot of the AC/DC songs, but especially on this album, it was just not very interesting. And the lyrics and everything, it sounded kind of forced. So not one of my favorite AC/DC albums. I've never heard Limp Bizkit, Results May Vary. With elements of jazz, alternative rock, acoustic, and even funk. The Who, It's Hard, I have never heard. I've thought of doing this for my series. But, I lost interest in The Who after Keith Moon sadly passed away. And I never really bought any more of their albums. But you Who fans out there, let me know. Is It's Hard a bad album? Phil Collins, Testify, I've never heard. And Nickelback. I did do a reaction to one of their albums. I'm not sure. I don't think it was this one. But at the end, I said the album does not suck. I don't, it's not my kind of music. It's a bit too formulated and radio friendly, and I just didn't care for it. But, still, the music was good and it didn't suck. Once again, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Mardi Gras. I have all of Creedence Clearwater Revival's albums. And the album definitely is not bad. It's definitely not Cosmo's Factory level. But there are some really good songs on it. Tomorrow, Someday Never Comes, Sweet Hitchhiker. I even love Door to Door by Stu Cook. I would say half of the album is mediocre to bad, and the other half is either very good or excellent. So it's still a good album overall for me. Never heard Bloodhound Gang, Hefty Fine. I don't think I want to. Iron Maiden, I've heard bad things about this album. It's with Blaze Bayley on lead vocals. Virtual 11. Billy Idol, Cyberpunk. I like Billy Idol. And I've heard bits of Cyberpunk, but not the full album. Everybody's Rockin'. It had to do with when he was with the Geffen record label, and they were saying they want him to do a rock album instead of, these weird albums like Trans, which I do love. And, the country album that he did. And so it's just a fun, very short 50s album with humor and everything. Is it his greatest album? No, but it's not a bad album. I think it's a fun listen. And that, I believe, is it. Yeah. So I would love your thoughts. Not too many albums in this list. But there, with any album, somebody is going to say, even for a great album, say Paul McCartney's Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Somebody's going to say that album is bad. And for me, it's one of his greatest albums. Everybody has their own opinions on music. So any bad album out there, somebody's going to like and consider a good album. So it's all in personal taste in the long run. And that is it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Looking forward to some comments, hopefully. Bye.